Sending data, streaming. All right, it says I'm live on YouTube, so let me just refresh the page. Here it is. And the title is bad too. It says launch week. It should say prediction markets, but it looks like it's a little janky. Okay. I hear my volume. Sorry about the music. Sorry about that. You probably have been trying to tell me, oh, Dave, the music's too loud. But if I go onto YouTube, I lost it already. Here. And I go to the live here. I'm going to bring it into the other window so you can see how long it takes. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. But if I do join on YouTube, it was pretty quickly right now. Immortal Prophet. So you can see that I've joined in a few different heroes from a few different platforms. Okay, and I can see where they're coming from. So that's kind of cool. So that part works. That was the part that we really wanted to get working before live, and we did. So I'm very happy about that. Okay. So we're talking about prediction markets. We should be able to start predicting here as soon as you see people come up on the screen. So my kind of thinking about how to do that, because technically the matches are 4 to 5 minutes each. When we start, we can have anywhere from 8 all the way up to like 1,000 players on the screen at one time. That would get pretty hectic to be able to show all of those. So what you really want to be able to do is be able to predict a winner for boy, the X stream is crazy lagging. You want to be able to predict a winner for maybe who's joined, because if somebody joins a match manually, you have some knowledge about what's going to happen, because these guys are going to have a little boost of health, etc. So you need some knowledge in order to be able to make an accurate prediction. You can look at the levels of the heroes. You should also be able to see the inventory that they have coming in with them, like a stack of potions, for example, that they will have available for them for this match, so that there's no surprises, right? And even if you were to buy potions during a match or do something else during a match, you will be able to. They're not going to become available to your inventory of your hero who's playing until after the battle's over, because you want to be able to see potions on one side, maybe items on another side, and any other pertinent information that you may have about the player. Maybe it's a link to their profile, but you want a little bit of time here. So that's why we have a minute countdown, and not only is that to just give people to join, right? But it's also to give you time to be able to assess the situation. And if there are major bosses that are going to be joining, etc., we'd want to know that here too, because you got to have some sort of knowledge, right, in order to be able to make an accurate prediction. And that's everybody's individual edge. You might know one of the players, you might own one of the players or heroes, or you might own a boss that's going to be coming in. We want to be able to see up front what the scenario looks like, because on Polymarket, right, you can look at the news, you can look at the social feeds, you can look at what other people have voted, etc., to sort of understand all this stuff that gives you some sort of knowledge to be able to make a prediction. Because you're predicting by buying shares, right? So it's not just like whatever. You don't want to just do a random selection. You want to at least have some sort of an advantage. If you know how your heroes are set up, and how the strategies are set up, right? My strategies for this hero are pretty much even Steven all the way across. For this combat style, all that stuff. We want to be able to have all that data here on the screen in order to be able to make an accurate prediction. So what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to be reusing this right-hand side of the screen here. So instead of leaderboard and top players, maybe there'll be a toggle, but you'll be able to see the current predictions for people. So we'll start with the joiners, and then if I haven't decided if we'll allow people to predict for the bosses, that might be that probably be a lot of fun, especially because we're adding bosses a lot sooner than you think, to be able to be able to place a prediction on one of them. But we're going to reuse the right hand side of the screen, actually a side bet. You can call it a side bet, like it's a side bet, to predict who the winner will be. in a regular prediction market, there's binary, so you have yeses and nos, and they balance out. But in this case, to make things easy and get this feature up and running quickly, we're just going to say predict the winner, and select from people that are there. Now you're probably asking yourself, rightly so, dear user, how you're supposed to be able to actually place these. So again, I put a lot of thought into this to make it easy. So one of the first things I did was I set up kind of the infrastructure for how to do this. Some of it. We'll set up more of it today. So I have created a, let me find it. I have created a shop wallet. Okay. And the shop wallet is here. And it has Soul Wars token in it. Very interesting, right? And whenever this shop wallet receives, let's look at recent activity, and we'll just go to the blockchain and take a look what that looks like. Whenever this shop wallet receives token, oops, that's the signer. I have given it a sol name, an SNS, okay? So you could actually send tokens to the shop wallet anytime you want from your own wallet. If I were to send tokens, for example, from my own wallet, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go here. I'm going to send some Soul Wars token to soulwars.soul. Soulwars.soul. That's something I can put up on the screen. That's easy. You don't have to memorize, a wallet address, whatever. You could send yourself it's not sending yourself, it's sending some tokens to the Soul Wars wallet. Okay. I want to send 200 tokens. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so it's sent. It says the transaction is complete. Let's take a look at it. It says the transaction is already confirmed. Solana and Sui are both very, very fast blockchains. And what happens is I have a listener set up here on QuickNode. Oops. Well, actually, you don't need to see that. I have a listener on QuickNode that's watching this wallet for incoming transactions, okay? And then what will happen is when they come in, there's another table here called wallet transactions. When it shows up, it'll show up here at the top of the wallet to say this wallet has received tokens. It matches up your wallet address that you already signed. Okay, I just got the confirmation on my Phantom wallet, so that means it should be coming in pretty soon. It probably takes 20 to 30 seconds, I would say, for it to, the transaction's finished, but it takes a little while for the wallet listener to pick up on it and then send it in. And then it will show up in my ledger balance here on the site. So if I go back to Heroes, into my profile, I have the transactions here. It already showed up. So that's up in the database here. I should probably sort it by date. That would probably be helpful. Order by date created DSC. There it was. It should have created at. Never remember what I called these fields. Yeah, it happened a lot faster than I thought. I just was not sorting it correctly. So it received this, so I know who it came from, what the transaction ID was, all that stuff, into the wallet. So now that 200 Soul Wars that I sent to the wallet is attributed to my user. It picked up my user's in the database because I've signed up with an account. Very, very, very simple. And if I didn't have one, it would create one for me. And now that's here on my ledger balance. Okay. So guess what? All of that stuff is now available for me to be able to use. So to place a side bet, all I need to have a rough idea is how much token I have. And if I don't have enough token, it'll send a message across the top of the screen. So if I were to type in here's my vision, is that we have a list of the users, or they'll be numbered here as well. And you could say bet, that'd be a chat command, bet yes, so to win, or bet 1. Something like that. Very simple chat commands where you basically are saying, I vote on number 1 to win. I bet on number 2 to win. And then how much the wager is. By default, it'll be 1 unit or whatever, but you could do like 50,000, 100,000, a million, or be talking to other people that are fighting with you and decide like there's going to be an entry, whatever. So we're going to use this Ledger wallet system to be able to do all kind of stuff, to be able to make live purchases on the screen, to be able to bet, to be able to enter into a pool, whatever. That way you don't have to make any kind of confirmation. When the other function I need to create now that I have the ledger balances set up is a withdraw function where you can say type in withdraw, and then it would take whatever number of tokens you specified or percentage, whatever. It will send them back out to your wallet. So that's a very, very simple ledger balance functionality that we can use to do all kinds of stuff in game without people having to worry about whatever transaction. Of course, that stuff will be available on the website if you wanted to go through and do that. But to begin with, it's going to be very simple chat-based stuff. All right, let me catch up a little bit here and switch back to my main wallet. All right, I am set up over there. What's up, Moki? Man, it feels good to be back chatting. Oh, they're doing some raids in the TG today. Very exciting. So yeah, for prediction markets, I want to see a list of the users, and basically you'll be able to bet on who will be the winner. And if you win, you'll get a even share of the prize pool. And if he doesn't win, that will just go back into the prize pool wallet. So that's kind of like what we had in mind there. Again, if you have a balance in your Ledger wallet, Ledger wallet sounds kind of funky. You probably call it like a chat wallet or something like that. You could, for example, decide to buy a battlefield that you saw. Like, this battlefield is for sale. And you can say buy right then and there. And if you're the first person to do that, you'll buy the battlefield on the spot. If it was a special item that came up, right, that was this cool magic item or a bunch of potions or whatever, entertainment shopping is what this enables, is what I'm trying to get to. Kind of like a little side. It was my epiphany from yesterday morning. Was it yesterday? That I said is that by having the Ledger wallets, we can actually do entertainment shopping right there in chat from any of the platforms, TikTok, YouTube, X, whatever. And actually, there's a really, really cool actual X wallet that Sui is working on that we'll be able to use for that kind of stuff too. But a chat wallet where you could buy stuff, make predictions, anything that's related to a financial transaction based on a wallet, you could probably do right there in chat, which is going to lower the friction. Right now, you don't have to sign up for anything, right? You don't have to. All you really have to do is send token to a well-named wallet and be able to withdraw that at any time, just by typing withdraw. Or you could go to the site and withdraw bits and pieces of it or whatever. So yeah, as the battle progresses, on the right hand side here, we want to be able to show the remaining users. I'm pretty sure that the way that we have the cameras and camera bounds kind of set up, that's automatically always going to work. And it's going to be whatever token that things are based on, by the way. And that'll always be visible. Like if you're on another streamer and he's running his own token on Pump Fun or Sui or whatever, or another Solana token, the prize pools of what you would need to buy stuff, whatever, will be specified. And the Ledger wallets all work the same way. As you could see, all the transactions that come in, they list what the battle ID was, if there was one when it was active, all that kind of stuff. So we can basically use the same wallets to maintain tokens from Solana or Sui across the board. Yeah. Okay, so again, I'm looking at the right-hand side of the screen to decide, is there going to be enough screen real estate? Because as the battle progresses, this is a battle royale. So people are kind of being shuffled to the middle. And you can't see it very well, but there is a really, 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 really tiny red line. I know that the streaming resolution is not high enough for you to see it. There's a really tiny red line that I can see. It's a box that basically defines what the zone is. That's roughly where this fog is at. So the right-hand side of the screen is still quite free. So that means this is going to be able to probably support, I don't know, we'll see how many we can do. 10? Or you can basically decide who's going to be the winner. And then at some point in time, we need to cut that off Maybe we do it when it comes down to the final, I don't know, maybe final five. At that point in time, it's kind of a moot point who's going to win. It still could be anybody's game, right? Because you never know. Somebody could do a heal, somebody could do a rage or whatever. But you want to be able to see what they have left, as again, so you can make an educated decision. I turn down the chat volume a bit. So Big Dog and Soluvan are in it. I mean, it looks like Big Soluvan's going to take it. Soljuvan. I said it like a French name, but whatever. It looks like he's going to take it, but Big Dog can come out with something right now. He can come out with, and then he has his 10 seconds to loot. We'll be able to actually customize your hero and prolong this loot period. And if he was a little quicker, if he had more points in quickness, he would be running around to get more loot too. Okay, so that's kind of the experience. It looks like the right-handed side of the screen is going to be perfectly clear for us to put stuff on. So there's no reason to do that. No reason not to do that. Now, what if it was like a TikTok match and nobody was interested in betting? Not a problem. Again, the chat command called, look at my collars all messy. The chat command called bet will basically hide that. If nobody were to type in bet, it would just hide itself. And it wouldn't bother anybody else, especially if it's like, you know, a bunch of like 13-year-olds on TikTok or whatever. They wouldn't have to worry about that. So instead of a binary prediction market like we'd have on Polymarket, this simple version at the front is going to be pick the winner of each match. Now we can get more complex for longer period events because these matches are so quick, and they will be getting a bit longer, by the way. Because these matches are so quick, it doesn't make sense for people to take up opposing positions unless we just start to do all kind of weird stuff with liquidity pools for prediction markets and like the house putting up stuff like that, and then there'll be extractors who come and figure it out and all kind of stuff. But the very simple thing will be to pick the winners. Now, longer term stuff is going to be like your hero. Like, let's say that you think that that you want to basically place prediction markets on certain heroes to win certain number of matches over the course of a week, or win a certain number of matches, or a certain percentage of the time. You know, those will be prediction markets that we could create around games as well. In which case they could settle, and have plenty of time to settle, plenty of time for people to adjust their positions over the course of a week, and increase or decrease their positions over the course of a week. So that's going to be effective for, you know, individual heroes, for guilds. You could say that certain guilds are going to win more or less. Again, number of battles or placement in a leaderboard or percentage of the time. And you'll be able to use your Soul Wars token to do that. So I think that's a really great way to add some more utility, not just to our token, but to any token that's out there, to be able to set up prediction markets around that stuff. It also encourages guild play. What's up, JP? How you doing? He joined from Twitter. Oh, I'm going to pause real quick. One of the cool things that I want to add, and I've been thinking a little bit about it, is this. When somebody joins in from, at least from X, I still call it Twitter. You know, come on, give me a break. I'm a boomer. Not boomer, but whatever. I was one of the original Twitter users. I have an old account. Actually, when did I join? It was a while ago. 2009. Yeah, it's a 16-year-old account. Okay. He has obviously a PFP on Twitter. When somebody sends an event into chat, I do know what that PFP is. So one of the things that I want to do is instead of just using this default hero graphic, because this wasn't customized, is just to pull in your PFP. For me, that's going to mean taking a round version of the PFP, uploading it to S3 AWS or Walrus. Robos, what's up, buddy? And then showing your PFP here. That way it's you. You can see that it's you on the battlefield. Looks like Robos has a little bit of XP. Actually, let me see if I can see something here real quick. If I go look at the heroes and find Robos here, and I look at his hero ID, I'm gonna have a very easy way for you to be able to check things out for people. If I go look at my own hero, Sassy Dingo, I can just put in somebody else's ID there. Okay, so that's Rabos's guy. This is all should be public, so you'll be able to see this on a leaderboard and look at his history to see how much stuff he's won. Look at his basic stats. So this is kind of a neat way for you to be able to. I have all the statistical information handy and ready and waiting for you to be able to make educated decisions on what kind of prediction market placement that you want to, what kind of position you want to take up if you want to do that. Here's why that's interesting. By the way, I can see that this account was created on X because of this, right? If you were to then go claim the hero, this hero would move over to his main account. But the interesting thing about this is I can see all the stats. You need to have some sort of data where you can take all the summary knowledge that you have, your wisdom, and your personal experience playing the game to be able to make an educated, edified position on predicting if he will win. And if the match was, so it's like Rabos, I want to be able to see his stats because you can't mouse over the screen, right? You're watching it happen. You can't mouse over the screen. And we'll only be able to have prediction markets, by the way, when the game is being streamed. That way people can't go look at the network calls, the source code, and like cheat that way. There's certain functionality that we have to sort of take out in order to be able to put a sort of single player game up on the site. We will have a single player game that people can click around and do their own thing on the site, but it has to have some things removed from it. Like I can't be giving you token playing on the site. I can't be giving you too much XP playing on the site, or it's going to be capped. Otherwise, people are just going to find ways to cheat that stuff. So we'll go ahead and resume this match and let it go. And I'll be right back. I need to turn this fan off. It's making me crazy. All right, I'm back. Yes, who's back? Yeah, maybe that is your X avatar. But for me, Rabos, your chat looks like this. Let me see if I can show you. Your chat looks like this coming from Restream. So it's got this on it. So I'm not sure what it is actually. 9, 8, 7. But I want you to be able to see you. That way it truly is a lobby game where the lobby can come from an X lobby, for example. That would be pretty awesome. So again, if I saw this battlefield and it wasn't owned, this is just fake data, by the way. I could see I want to buy it, so I'm going to type in buy, and maybe I have, a million extra Soul Wars token handy, or somebody offer it for sale. I could put other people's items for sale here, so it's like entertainment shopping, right? Or a cool magic sword, or whatever, or an XP bonus. If you saw something you wanted to buy, you could type buy. Maybe some of those items are one-offs. Maybe some of those are just things that everybody could get or whatever. But we could basically put stuff right there. That's a token sink, right? If somebody types buy and they've sent money into their soulwars.soul or soulwars.sui wallet, then it'll be right there waiting. And another thing I tried around experimenting with yesterday was a quick camera zoom, because when the battle first starts, you can't see where you are really. You have to type show. Some of the chat commands are still a little bit janky, and I don't know how long it takes for you. I see it live. I don't know how long it's taking for the stream to get to you guys. I'm assuming 5 to 10 seconds. So that's not always cool. I'm down here. If I'm the operator of the game and I click, I can see, this stuff here. And so I'm going to put a smaller variety of this up the right-hand side of the screen is what will happen here, and with numbers on them. That way I get to see like who's doing what. One of the things I experimented yesterday was doing a little camera zoom so that it would like either go around in a circle, but I'm thinking about having it go corner to corner so you can at least get a better idea of where you are in the battlefield and see yourself. So just kind of like thinking about how the layout would be. I have this pause 50 here. I think this was originally from your attack. I forget what this number was from. This was some debug thing that I had originally, but I could see my level, my HP. Other people, by the way, have been wanting to see level lately because Aralon's, for example, you see he's got a tiny bit of health left, but maybe that tiny little bit is actually 200 because he's got maybe 2,000 health. Who knows? So some people have been wanting to see level lately. So I think we'll start to do that pretty soon. A little visual indicator. So I did fully intend on having an animated character or characters created for this game, out of sprite sheets or whatever. And okay, this screen is definitely is probably most likely going to go away. That's a good question. Should I keep that screen? Yeah, again, you'll see on the right hand side. Maybe it's a little bit of a pause to introduce a pause there. Look at Cheese Cat flying. But by the time it gets to Final 5, bye, Dave. Oh, who's going to win here? Cheese has got 158, 276. Cheese is not here, so he can't rage or do anything. He could use some of these potions, and he's got quite a bit. He's been looting. That's why he's been running around so much. This is a good example of one where you thought you'd know which way it went, but guess what? Yeah, Cheese Cat took that one, and then he picked up all the loot. I have a higher resolution version of that token coin, by the way. And he's also going to want to have 20 seconds probably to run and get that loot. So that'll probably be a hero specialization that he's going to want, is to extend the ability that he has to loot. Because if you run around and pick stuff up on the battlefield, you walk away with it. It's going to be yours. If it's token, that goes into your token pool for the day. You can keep it in your ledger wallet, or you can withdraw it, or whatever. The potions, you're not seeing them in your inventory yet, but you will. Actually, probably as soon as I set this active, people are going to have a ton of potions that they can take with them into battle. And that's why, actually, I'll go to my own heroes now. That's why these strategies are going to be useful, of item usage, of how often your guy wants to use potions. Because you probably don't want to blow all of your potions in one battle. So you right down the middle is fine, but you might say liberal, where he'll use a potion anytime he needs one. A little bit of health he needs, swig that potion. Needs mana, swig it. All that kind of stuff. So that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, and so these battle rewards will come up. This unknown hero, by the way, I'm pretty sure I know where it's coming from, but it's a bug, and I'm actually going to turn it into lore. So don't be surprised if unknown hero becomes sort of like a game boss. There is a thing inside the game code where if it doesn't know what the hero's name was, which it should always know what the hero's name was, it calls him unknown hero, and he sort of stands off to the side in the battlefield. I know you guys have probably seen him there. That's just a bug, and I don't really know what caused it yet because I haven't looked into it. But he'll probably end up becoming a bit of the lore. I thought about that yesterday. Unknown hero has been observing people's battle strategies, and now he rises up. Or maybe unknown hero could actually be a actual hero, but who decides that he wants to be anonymous, so you don't know too much about him, and he's sort of like a wild card, right? Okay, so this is normally where the reward screen ends, and then it's going to go back to the join screen. We're going to have a few more screens here. One of those is going to be information about the game, including how to go claim your heroes if you joined from a Twitch or a YouTube or X, because you're probably going to want to go create it. If you liked what you saw, if you earned a token or whatever, you're going to want to go and claim that stuff. But guess what? You didn't have a wallet, so where does it go? Where does it go? Well, it does get recorded here in your battle loot, no matter if you had a wallet or not. It's right here. Okay, by your hero and by battle ID. I track everything. So that means even if you didn't have a wallet, you will still be able to go set up an account on the site, add your wallet to it. Hopefully you'll have, in Phantom, you can add both your Solana and your Sui wallets. And then, but I use Slush. I like the Slush wallet. And then add that hero to your main account. So that way, even if he was created outside, you'll be able to bring him in. Okay, is how that will work. And we'll get that live this week. So yeah, prediction markets are very fascinating because that's going to make it so that people who haven't even joined the game. They're just spectators. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's a 1v1 special battle type. And it's just those two guys going to be battling with no AI. And the camera zooms in on them ahead of time. We give them extra health so that the battle takes longer, or whatever we need to do to sort of balance the mechanics there. And people will just want to be able to make predictions just on them being on the screen without having joined into the battle. We'll get rid of this too, and I'm probably going to end up using the left-hand side of the screen in the beginning, again, because it's just sitting here, to show that. It's an intermission screen right now defined in the database, because I can show intermissions at any point in time during the battle. And we'll use those to do things like a boss appears, all that kind of stuff. But doing the predictions makes things interesting because you got to keep it fair. If you don't know what's going to happen, well, it's not really that fair for you to be able to make accurate predictions. That's why I haven't done things yet like let people join in the middle of a battle. And we will be making it so you can join in the middle of a battle. If you see your guy on the screen, then you can sort of take control of him. But what about joining on the screen? Like now it's probably okay. There's still some people with full health. So maybe you could just spawn off on the left. But some people might say, that's not really too fair that somebody could join in later on like that. So I'm sort of having to make that optional. Maybe it's a flag where people agree to it. They go ahead, join late, but guess what? Like, I'm already half dead when you join. That's not that fair. So we'll have to be careful about how we do that. Because it may not be fair to other people, but for me watching, maybe I want to join in because I only have 2 minutes and I want to join in the battle. Well, if it was a PvE match where it's just you're fighting across like a ton of bad guys, like goons, for example, maybe I want to be able to join in and help, right? He sent me a quick text or whatever. It's like, dude, we've been fighting these guys for 25 minutes. We need some help. We're just about out of potions. Can you come in and help? I go and join in the battle. That would be fun. That would be fair. That would be something that people would want to do. But for these like 3 or 4 minute long like PvP battle royales, unless there was a gulag functionality where at the end everybody got full health, because that would be sort of interesting. The first part of the battle would be like battling it out, and then if you wanted to rejoin the match, you could, in like a gulag round, sort of speak. Maybe you're able to join at half health or something like that, to at least be able to join in near the end. And that would totally screw up the prediction market, right? So in that case, we'd have to probably use some rules like saying people have placed positions on predictions. You can't join in late. If there are only 5 people left. Because then people just wait, right? They'll wait till the end, join in, and then go clean up on the loot. People would do that. Absolutely, they would do that. Food. I don't know what the food command does anymore, I'll be honest. It was supposed to spawn food, but the spawn functionality for food ended up working kind of different. By the way, for a little while, after the battle ended, your guy would quickly, it looked like he would run off to the left and die. That was because the fog closed in on him. Now I make the fog, the pain area go away, so that way you can run around on the battlefield for a little bit. So it looks like I can use the right-hand side for prediction markets and the left-hand side for maybe some chat commands or whatever. And one of the things that we're going to do maybe tomorrow is actually tag other tokens and give them a benefit. That's something that's going to be very easy for me to do. Is Unknown Hero again. Where did he come from? It says he survived, and it says he did a lot of damage. It says he didn't die either. He had zero deaths. So yeah, these stats are probably not accurate at this point in time. They would just here as placeholders. But one of the things that I'm going to do very quickly is here be able to throw in another contract address and specify a benefit. That way I can paste in. I already have some in mind. I can paste in a contract address. I thought I connected with with Restream. Paste in a contract address and say all blah 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 holders are going to get a 25% bonus today or something like that, and I'll tag them in an X post. So guess what? Some of these tokens that have been out there talking but not doing anything, and you know who I'm talking about. Some of those will give them some utility and say, hey, you guys can come in battle. You'll get a bonus. You can make some wagers, etc. So that's one of the things that we'll do to sort of get some more people playing. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of break, and when I come back, I'm going to do some live coding. I'll let this run for a bit. I'm going to take about a 10-minute break, and when I come back, I will start to implement the side bets on the right-hand side. So I'll keep this up and shut the camera down. I'll be right back. Before I go, I saw a question from Robos come up. So, what happens when Disk and Robos are mine and put them in a single wallet? You'll have to adjust between frequencies to decide who's going to be joining in the battles more often. If you always wanted to make sure one of your dudes was going to be selected, you'd do it here. You'd put him as the frequent one and make the other one either seldom or set him to be never. That's all. Otherwise, they'll be randomly selected. Okay. Okay. All right, I didn't see who won that one. Immortal Prophet. I think that's my guy. Unknown Hero again. I can't wait to find out what was the cause of this. Okay. I think it's going to be very, very interesting, by the way. Um, I think it's going to be very interesting when we enable some other projects. Um, there's some projects that are promising prediction markets. I think who took some cues from something I said to them during um, a space the other day, and have expanded their vision a bit, which is fine. And let them make some prediction market bets in Soul Wars game to give the token a little bit of utility. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. Sorry, and sort of bring things up. We'll keep that here, and get coding on setting up the prediction market stuff. Um, the thing that makes prediction markets so interesting for me in gaming is it allows people to take part even if they're not a gamer. So I got into a little bit of a debate the other day with somebody who had some very strong opinions about what is a user, and I said, he was like, call them players or call them gamers, or you're a loser. Well, he didn't say a loser, but basically you're stupid. If it's a game and somebody's interacting with it, you call them gamers. It's like, that's not necessarily true, because a lot of the people are actually their users. Some of the people might be offering up battle insurance, for example, where they're covering some of your losses if you lose something, or owning property, but they never play, or placing bets on you, but they never play. You might always back a certain player, where you have an auto bet that says every time Robos plays, I want to bet for him to win. You might have something that says that, and that will be like your thing to do. But you're not a player, okay? You're a user. Anyway, stupid semantics. So again, what we want to do is have the right hand side of the screen. And actually, I forgot to see how big that was, so I'll probably just I want to get a percentage, and then we'll just fix it after. I'm running it locally now, so I've already game and do launch here. Then this launch screen, this is going to be, so if this is half, let's do a quick measurement here. Oh, it doesn't give me pixel sizes. So if we'll just eyeball it. Took a bad screenshot. Yay. So if that's half and that's a quarter of a quarter. So I want to basically start it around here. I'm going to say I know it's bigger than 10%, probably 15%. So let's start that over there. So we'll I'll probably get rid of this and make it smaller. So let's look for that first. Season ends. I am a little bit curious why I didn't find it. Season 1 ends. Okay, so here's this bottom text. It's not easy to do UI on these kind of things. Pause. So if I can, season 1 ends in 7 days. Instead of doing that, I'll do that's a rectangle. The bottom Y is there, so let's try 20%. Little bit smaller. Oh, the height of it, the bottom height. Bottom height is, let's do 15%. 15%. instead of percentage based, let's do 200 pixels. When you do a UI, you're either doing it percentage based or you just kind of go pixel by pixel and trial and error. Bottom Y, text Y plus 100. Move down a little bit more. We're going to go 150. I notice that on streams you got to be a little bit careful because there's always stuff that comes up at the bottom of a stream. Like if I go here, what's at the bottom of the stream? Oh, actually nothing is at the bottom of the stream because I'm using OBS, so that's fine. Move it down a little bit more. Another 50 pixels should do it. But yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. This is live dev. This is the boring stuff. Okay. So that's the Y. That's the height of it. And we're going to make it bottom height. Make it like 12%. That should give me a decent margin. There's a cool engine called Shiva that let you do things by just percentages all the time. And I'm going to leave it like, I'm going to adjust it just slightly and then leave it. But for the people who are like lining things up in your mind, I'm going to leave it here off pixel. And you'll always be like, no, I know that screen's not even. I'll adjust it a little tiny bit for the ADD people. There we go. That margin is not even, but we're gonna live with it. And the leaderboard, we're gonna probably leave the leaderboard. I'm gonna make it a little bit taller. Leaderboard placeholder, leaderboard title, top background, leaderboard right container. Oh, and you know what? I have a resize thing, which is gonna, yeah, okay. I had the toughest time getting this screen lined up correctly because of the varying screen widths, and I still would like it a little bit more perfect, off, over another 100 pixels or so. I'll work on that. It's one of those things I keep forgetting to do. Create right column. So the top height, bottom height. No, come back. I forgot to pause. We'll make it 75% high. And then move it down. I'm going to make it 80% high and then move it down a bit. There we go. And then move it down a bit. Top background. Too much. It is painstaking. And in the past, I've actually taken graph paper and taken like hours and squared it away, and then I'm happy with it forever. That's the kind of thing that takes a long time to do, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. The YouTube one just doesn't want to stay live. I wonder why. Did I break something? Looks like it's live. Yeah, it's live. Actually, it's not. I'll figure that out later. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I keep getting distracted. All right, I'm basically trying to move this thing down and being very inept at it. They wanted to start here. So it's using a negative. Positive. I should just pick one screen resolution and stick with it. Because I'm just making little tiny changes at a time, a little bit more. Yeah, the way I set this up is not the best with margins and stuff. Top height, so that's X, that's Y, pause, X, Y, let's add 20. That looks about even with that. Okay, and top height, I'll just modify it a little bit more. Yeah, okay, get in there. If I kept it all one screen size, when people are going to want to start launching this themselves, I'm going to need to stick with percentage based and not strict XY resolution. Okay, so most of the time, so this is going to have to change to be like instructions, leaderboard. It's going to have to like go back and forth. So for now, I'm just going to I should create a container to put all this text in. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use ChatGPT for that. Create a container in the upper right column. Oh, I have to take it off ChatGPT 5. It's going to say auto because it's been getting expensive. Create a container in the upper right column, which I can reuse for different. Don't start fighting. My cats are in here battling. For different content pieces. One, it should have a 10px margin inside the top BG. Top BG, inside the top BG. And I'll probably want to have one for leaderboard, one for well, yeah. Okay, for the join screen specifically, it should probably be a little bit more front and center. But because I want to use this in the regular game scene as well, we're going to set up the game scene one first. Inside the top 10-piece mark inside the top BG. All right, let me do this first, and then I'm actually going to change my mind. It should have a 10-piece margin inside the top BG container. Container. And leave room for leaderboard content. To instructions. Instructions text. All right, let's going to give this to go. So I'm going to let it do its thing. While it's thinking, I just realized, so one of the things I am going to want to do is this. So if I go here and go here, here, what has your Facebook group said about this project so far? Actually, I've been forgetting to stream in that one, but they did like it. I should probably go put that live. They liked it, and they liked the idea that I was live streaming dev. It just takes like 10 minutes to set it up. What did I do here? I typed in join. I didn't see myself join. Cannot read properties of null reading add. Yeah, you may not be able to because it's in the middle of coding. My assistant is coding. While it's doing that, I will see if I can figure this out again. I gotta write down the steps because every time I go to do it, it takes me like 10 minutes, but I'm gonna try it. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, I'm signed in with my Soul Wars account. I want to be able to start streaming there. I got to upgrade my Restream account because it right now. Here we go. Game developers. Right now, it is it only does 5. I need it to be able to do like 10. So let me to go live. Almost 90,000 members now. That's crazy. I always forget how to do this. It's changed so much over the last 15 years. I should just have a button here that says go live. Yeah, there's like a production manager, media manager. I forget. So what can I shut off? So here right now on Restream, I'm running my personal account, the YouTube account. I'll shut that one off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the game feed.